1 in 5 people in the biotech and life sciences space have changed jobs in the last 12 months. My name is Prost from Yala, Recruitment, and I'm going to talk to you today about share some strategies with you about how to fill hard to fill positions in the pharma and life sciences sector. We'll be covering 3 main points. Number 1, an overview of the sector. Number 2, challenges. And 3, insights and tips for employers to overcome these challenges. So let's take a look at the sector. It's an incredibly important sector for the Irish economy. There's over 250,000 people employed in the sector. This accounts for over 12% of the total employment in the economy. The sector was responsible for over €12.5 billion in employment wages and taxes. We're the second largest exporter of medical devices and complex pharmaceutical goods, medicines in Europe, and we're the 6th highest spending in R&D in the EU on a per capita basis. And 29% of manufacturing jobs in Ireland now are in the high technology sectors. And I think these last 2 points point to the higher value jobs that are now being created in Ireland in the sector. So I think this survey has been mentioned already today, but I just want to highlight a couple of more points from the manufacturing survey, which was done in October of last year. So just under half the respondents were from the life sciences sector. Most of the respondents felt that attracting and retaining a quality workforce is a major challenge. And at the same time, there's positivity here. If we look at the following 3 points, 90% are confident about the prospects for the future. The vast majority expect employee numbers to either grow or stay the same. And obviously in the context of today, it's no surprise that the majority of employers expect wages to increase. And the sector continues to grow. I know we recently had the Merck announcement in Cork. I'm not going to go through each of these, but as you can see, it's a list of the household names in the sector, the major players, all with big jobs announcements, so big expansion plans in Ireland. So let's look at the market now. How does it break down? What are the most common job titles in the market? And we can see here it's QA, QC. Accounting for just under 2,500 of the job titles in Ireland today, according to LinkedIn's Talent Insights platform. And again, just to draw your attention to a couple of points on this slide, again, there's over 50,000 professionals in the industry. Just under 10% of those have changed jobs in the last 12 months. And again, just pointing to how buoyant the sector is, there's just under 2,000 jobs currently advertised on LinkedIn today. How the demand is characterized by LinkedIn is characterized as very high, and this talent is very hard to find. And again, if we look here, the median tenure is just 1.8 years. So the average time, roughly that people are staying in jobs is 1.8 years, which probably gives an indication that retention is an issue that employers need to be aware of. So the challenges in the sector are characterized by high demand, skills shortages, and also digitalization. And the last point here is talked about well in a case study by Stryker. And what they talk about here is the fact that as a result of digitalization, the skills now needed include data analysis, automation, systems engineering, and analytics. And what this does, it pits now the pharmaceutical and life sciences sector in direct competition with the big tech companies now for skills. And this is an issue that the sector is going to have to grapple with in the next 10 years. So what are our recommendations? What works for employers that we help? Speed is key. Companies need to respond quickly to candidates. The average, or the top 10% of candidates, the best candidates available in the market, are gone within 10 days. And if you reconcile that with the fact that the average hiring time for most companies is 29 days, there's a big gap. So how do companies address this? By looking at their internal processes. How quickly are they responding to CVs submitted? How quickly are they organising interviews? I think the day of 6 and 7 interview rounds are probably behind us for most companies. Companies need to move fast and they need to make decisions quickly when it comes to hiring processes. Communication. This is an internal reference. So internally, a key stakeholder needs to be appointed. share timelines with the hiring team so everybody's on board with the schedule. Get alignment among the teams. If the hiring manager is looking for one type of profile and talent acquisition are off looking for another type of profile, it's going to lead to wasted time and wasted resources. And collaboration, so work together to set the goals, tasks and skills of the job, which leads us on to job descriptions. Use plain language, avoid business speak. Describe the attributes clearly in your job ads of what it takes to be successful in your organization. And be clear. Candidates want to know what they will get to do in your job, in your organization. Use your network. It's a very powerful tool to attract people to your organization. Reach out to your personal contacts. Ask them to share the jobs you're looking to fill. And engage with the hiring manager. We had a case study with a professional services firm where once we engaged the partner in the hiring process and he was sharing the content, sharing the job, we suddenly saw a dramatic increase in the number of CVs we were receiving in relation to the position. Use your existing employees. They are your brand ambassadors. They are the people that are best able to sell your value proposition to other candidates. Simply ask your existing employees, why do you like working here? Sharing this type of content on video ideally is very, very powerful. The data suggests that candidates will believe other employees' stories, what other employees say about working in an organization 3 times more than leaders or leadership or a CEO video. And also the data shows us that there's more engagement online with video content over text-based content. And a referral bonus. Turn your existing staff into recruiters for your business. We'll talk about it later on in a case study, but we see referral bonuses from anything from €250 to €5,000, but certainly some form of referral bonus scheme we find dramatically improves the talent pipeline coming into a business. So when it comes to sourcing, first of all, identify and defining the ideal profiles for your business and search for similar profiles. Passive recruiting. Today, the best candidates don't have to look for jobs. So your passive recruiting strategy is really important. Adobe used this very successfully in the US. They find people with the skills they're looking for and they send them a, hey, would you like to come and work for us message. Automate. A lot of these tools, when it comes to reaching out to candidates, are highly repetitive, and highly repetitive tasks, as we know in today's market, can be automatable. And there's tools available that we advise clients with to dramatically improve efficiency. And when you're reaching out, it's very important to personalize the message and start the conversation. And there's no need to give 2-page job description when you're reaching out to candidates. In fact, the best messages are usually shorter than 500 characters. I just want to make a point here just regarding involving humans in the process. And the fact that I think it's very important that companies are aware that biases exist today in recruitment selection software. There was a recent study done in Business Review where over 2,000 leaders were surveyed, and 88% of them believe that they've missed out on qualified candidates because of biases in their recruitment selection software. There was one employment lawyer found that by having the name Jared, or the fact that somebody played lacrosse in high school, was a predictor for success in a job. Now, no, I actually don't know anyone called Jared, but I can't imagine that it's going to have a huge impact on somebody's success in a role or not. And also, sorry, no offense to anyone who plays lacrosse either, but again, it's an interesting biases were uncovered, and it's just something to be aware of. There was also a candidate in the UK who was rejected by an algorithm, even though he worked for a direct competitor, and he successfully took a case against the employer, £8,500. So there's obviously financial implications for this as well that employers need to be aware of. So let's look at case studies. What are the best companies doing in this space? If we look at Novartis, I know their chief people officer at the CIPD conference last week was talking about the fact that they create a shop window of their culture. So they make it very easy for prospective candidates to really see what it's like to work in a business and how they do things around here. There's three aspects to their culture: curious, inspired, unbossed, which means empowered. They prioritise DE&I policies. This is very important in today's candidate market. This is what candidates today really care about. They use the internal talent marketplace. So in other words, they look inside the organisation. They remove obstacles to people moving laterally before they look externally. And they prioritise the candidate experience. So what this means is they treat candidates like customers. And why shouldn't they treat candidates like customers? Maybe today are candidates not as important or even more important than customers, and looking for external validation. So looking for third parties to validate you as an employer as an attractive place to work. There's another case study of a company that we work with. The company is asked to remain confidential, but I can share with you what's worked with for them. So the challenges that they face are typical of any company in the sector. Shortage of skills. They were losing talent because of lucrative contracting opportunities that candidates were being offered elsewhere on high hourly rates, and also, lucrative overseas opportunities. Their candidates were being tempted away overseas out of Ireland. So what did they do? Well, first of all, they set up in a strategic location, which was very successful for them because 70% of their team come from the local area. They used employee stories. So they simply asked their existing employees, what do you like about working here? And they shared that with their network, and it improved their talent pipeline dramatically. They attended recruitment fairs. They got engagement from leadership and hiring managers to share content and also reach out to their network. They hired a talent acquisition team of 2 people, but then used an external resource to flex up as demand increased. And they set up a referral bonus scheme of €5,000, which was paid to every employee who successfully referred someone to their business. They were clear on their value proposition to the employee. So what does the employee get? They get a signing on bonus. They get to work on cutting edge technologies. There's a hybrid working policy in place. They have a fully equipped modern office space, so it's a very nice environment for people to come to work in, for the people who have to come to the office. Because of their location, quality of life is a big selling point for them. So just here's a flavour of some of the clients that we've worked with as a business. We have a rent-a-recruiter service, and in the last 18 months, 34 clients have subscribed to our rent-a-recruiter model in Ireland, and we've expanded to the US and Australia this year. Our model is based on embedding recruiters on site with clients as they scale up. And some of the tactics that we'd like to recommend that have worked for clients we've worked with include, especially in light of the pressure on wages today, we recommend companies to review compensation and benefits packages in line with market rates. Making sure they're offering a flexible work model wherever possible. Being flexible on the job specification requirements. So if somebody's looking for 10 years experience, perhaps they could look for 6 or 7 years experience for the role instead. Passive recruitment, as we mentioned earlier, the best candidates don't need to apply for jobs. So you need to have a passive recruitment strategy to target people who aren't necessarily looking, but who have the skills you need. Look at your time to hire, and assume the candidates are in multiple processes with other employers. We recommend 2 weeks from the CV sent to offer. Get your employee stories on video. Use these your brand ambassadors to attract people to your organization. Get your culture right. If your culture isn't spot on, there's no point promoting it. So do some work on that internally first, perhaps, and then share it. And ensure you're investing in your staff's learning and development and growth. So just to summarize, there's high demand is set to continue in the pharmaceutical and biotech sectors. We advise companies to review their hiring processes to ensure that they're in line with industry best practice, and to include humans in your talent acquisition process. And just to finish on a quote from a senior partner in the UK from PwC, employees will vote with their feet and will leave if expectations on company culture, reward, flexibility and learning aren't being met. Thank you very much.